certified fantastic.
Definitely. Just about to hit 10 minutes past the hour. 6 o'clock. It's a Friday evening. We back on it. The Book Nook on Hope Alive Radio with me, Bonnie Pule. Oh gosh, I always look forward to this time of the day. It just makes my week. And I wish you could be in the studio to just see what is going on here. Today, producing my show, I am so excited. I've got my colleague, Muzi Mthetho. Muzi. Thank you so much. I've got Muzi producing my show today, and it's so exciting to have him. I mean, I always hear him between 12 and 3. To see him after 6 is like a wow. And I know it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful day. But anyway, let's move on. Good evening, our listeners out there. I hope you had a beautiful week, and I hope you'll be enjoying the next hour as we talk about marketing hacks. As usual, we've got a guest in the studio who's written a very interesting book. You are able to get in touch with us on 067 153 1089. Please WhatsApp us. Let's engage. In the studio today, I've got Maria Issa. She wrote a book, How to Build a Bankable Brand. Good evening, Maria.
Good eevening, Moiponi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for honoring the invitation. How are you doing?
I am groovy like a drive-in movie.
Oh my word! Did I not say today we're having a different kind of show? Listen to that. You know what excites me about you?
What?
The fact that you and I grew up in the same country.
Oh my gosh, yes. Can we do a shout out?
We should definitely need to do a shout out to each and everybody out in
Botswana!
Again, boss.
Hey.
I was so excited to see that we grew up in the same country, and I was like, oh wow, what a coincidence.
I mean, I think it's not a coincidence. It's just blessings.
It's blessings, eh?
You know,
Let's
that's how God
acknowledge
works.
that.
He just draws us towards each other.
Gosh, look at that. I mean, it's like I've known you forever. I'm like,
I know, right?
Just because we grew up in one country and we just met like 30 minutes ago, it just feels like, hey, man.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm awesome. I always look forward to a Friday evening, trust me.
I can
6 and
imagine.
7 on the Book Nook, where we
Wow.
talk everything books and related to reading.
You see.
It's an amazing show. You must listen to it more often.
No,
eh?
I really need to, actually, because I think the hookup that I got, I was like, listen, shaping minds for a better future. I'm like, that's my vibe. That right there, I love that.
This online radio station is doing wonders.
Listen to the world and beyond.
Definitely. So introduce yourself to the listeners, Maria, so that they get to know who we're talking to today.
Okay, so my name is Maria, as you have heard. I am a marketing specialist. I love all things reading as well as writing, as you've heard. I'm an author. I love to travel. I love my family. But the biggest thing about me is I love to empower people with knowledge. I don't believe that we need to go, to our destinations alone. We definitely need to get there together. So there's an African proverb that I live by after seeing it at OR Tambo. Actually, I was traveling for work sometime. And it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's just sat with me since then. I think it was, 2013 when I saw it? So since then, I'm like, that's such an African thing, though.
I love that. Every time I'm at Old Tambo and I'm down there because it's right there.
Yes, you know
down
where it is.
I know exactly where it is.
I think I was going to Botswana at that point.
I look at it and I just smile. It resonates with me so much.
Exactly.
It really does. How to build a bankable brand.
Yes.
Marketing and sales growth hacks.
Ooh, I just got chills when you said that.
That's your book.
That's my book.
And how did you decide to write this book?
Wow. So I don't know if you'll believe me. I was actually told, I don't know how many years ago exactly, but I was told by a friend, he said, God says you must write that book. And I was like, what book?
Yes.
I'm like, what do you mean? A little bit more information would be great.
Yes.
Nothing. I was like, oh, okay. So for years, I'm like, okay, I should write a book. And I think the beginning of last year, I was like, yeah, I should write my book. So I thought about a book about my life's journey.
Mm-hmm.
And, life is very interesting. It's lifing, as I say,
Yes.
because, it's never linear. It's got its, peaks, its troughs. It's dynamic. And obviously I started writing it and I had this beautiful introduction, sent it to friends, like, what do you think? And then I didn't write anymore after that. I got, stuck with life. And then I was like, okay, but I feel like I need to write something. I just don't know what. And I'd been following this lady on social media, Instagram specifically.
Okay.
And I go to Instagram for inspiration for my research as well. So
do you do a lot of research?
I do a lot of research. So
Okay.
if I'm staying up late, if you see me online, I'm actually mostly like researching. So I'm looking at trends. I'm looking at what are the things that people are gravitating towards and so forth. So I do that a lot. And there's a lady I've been following. She's actually Nigerian, but I believe she's based in Dubai. Okay. And she was talking about how she has this cohort where you can write a book in 30 days. And I was like, 30 days? And I'm like, wow. And I'm like, and you write an ebook, and you literally from start to finish, she'll hold your hand. So she's got this whole course that will literally guide you for 30 days to write a book and self-publish as well. And you can launch it out into the world. And I was like, what better gift to give myself, because December is my birthday month.
Okay.
Actually. So
nice.
I decided this in November because I was like, Lord, I really need a shift in my life. There's places I want to go. I know you want me to go somewhere. I just don't know how to get there.
Okay.
So he's like, that book. I'm like, you're talking real loud now. You were silent for a while. So I'm like, okay, but what about this book? So I actually had a strategy session with her first. And I was like, a strategy session and a book, this actually links into each other.
Yeah,
Okay. I see where this is going. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to take the plunge. I am going to commit to 30 days during December. So while everybody was enjoying December, because December is a lifestyle in South Africa, I was writing a book.
So what do you mean you were writing a book? You were sitting
I was sitting in front of my laptop.
And you were writing.
I was writing.
And how long did it take for you to literally write and finish this book?
So it's a process, right? So I think the thing about processes, you can't really rush them, and that's why I enjoyed actually the course, because it's a pre-recorded course, of course, but she gives you days to plan. She gives you days to start putting the stuff together. Then she leaves you for 10 days. There's 10 days she's given you to write consistently, and I'm not gonna lie, there were days where I was just like, I'm not feeling. I feel like there's a block.
What motivates you?
Yeah, like what am I going to write about? And then you start having to talk to yourself like, will anyone really want to read it? Do I really have something worth saying? And that was coming up in my mind. I'm like, God, how did you bring me here? And now I'm getting into a good place of self-doubt, which I can't afford right now. But this is why I enjoyed having that course, because I had I was, held accountable. Yeah. If I didn't finish within that set time, she actually says, guys, if you don't launch by a certain time, I'm going to kick you out of the group. So it's also now that pressure where you're like, if I don't put this together.
So you're part of a group. She puts you as a part of a group.
She puts you as part of a group. So what happens is actually, so you go through this orientation, then you join a WhatsApp group, and she's got over 150 people. So actually the new cohort started yesterday. So we get new cohorts all the time, and you get to build,
so you network. So it's also networking.
It's like network. So it's a community,
it's
basically.
A community.
She's building a community of authors from around the world who want to just share their knowledge on different topics.
You better link a girl.
A girl, I got you. I got you. You see, now that I got your WhatsApp number, it's over. I don't know. And you're from Botswana. When are we driving back together?
Let's talk about it. There's a long weekend coming up, Maria. That's a long weekend.
You see, now you're talking my language. You're talking my language now.
Okay, so then in that 30 days during December, you wrote.
I wrote the book from the 1st of December. That was my start date. Till the 30th of December, which was 2 days after my birthday. I actually took time off on my birthday. I had a friend who came to visit me. So that day I actually took it as,
yes,
let's give some time. But I also took some, creative space time as well in between. But between the 1st and the 30th, I finished the book, and I officially launched, I believe it was the 3rd or 4th of January.
Wow. And it's what? It's an ebook? Is it a hard copy?
It's an ebook. It's an ebook. And I believe it was very strategic for it being an ebook, simply because it's easier now for people to just download it. Once they pay, they get a downloadable copy, and you can read it anywhere. And also, it just limits costs. So the price that you get is literally from me to you, as opposed to me now having to print it. Now there's a printer's cost. Then deliver it to you. Now there's a delivery cost on top of that. So these are different components that come into pricing when people, start thinking about putting pricing in their products, which is what I talk about in the book.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's actually quite interesting. But so you talk about marketing and marketing hacks. How did you decide on what you want to write about?
I wanted to write about something that I'm passionate about. So from, school in Botswana, I've been very passionate about brands and advertising. I've loved the adverts that we've seen on air from, since I was a child. And I just loved how it really invoked emotions in consumers and how it actually affected our decisions when it comes to the shelf. And I'm like, oh, I want to be a part of that world. I didn't realize what that world was because I actually, now that I look back at it, I think I wanted to be more on the creative side than the strategic side. But I found myself on the strategic side and I absolutely love it. In fact, the creative is great. I can do creative, but I really, really love the strategic side because I feel like you have an input as to what people are going to see for a period of time. So it's not just an ad which you will see maybe for 3 months, 6 months, 2 years, and then it's done and dusted. Whereas the strategy, you are literally putting into that year in, year out. And that's how people are going to engage with that brand. There's so many brands that we've grown up and loved. And that's because people have put a plan together for you to keep loving the brand.
And for you to have a long life. And
longevity, exactly. So that's what I wanted to do. But what really got me into wanting to write this specifically is I felt like I'm one person and I can't get to every small business essentially in terms of giving basics for marketing. So the reason why I left even corporate to go into consulting is I wanted to give the small businesses the tools, the marketing tools to build their businesses. We've had that discussion about access to markets. I don't know if anyone realizes access to markets is actually just essentially marketing, understanding the market, understanding what do people need. Are you solving a need or are you just solving your ego in what you think people need?
For me, what was interesting is that when I saw the book and I was reading the book, in my mind, I wanted to I thought, that's very interesting. I think a lot of books that I've been reviewing are not, there hasn't been anything about marketing actually that I've done. And it was just interesting when I came across the book. It was the first thing that caught me, that sales and marketing hacks for entrepreneurs. Wow.
Yes, exactly.
That is something different. But what makes your book different? Because even though I haven't done reviews on these books, I know there's a lot out there.
Yes.
What makes yours different to the ones that are available out there?
So I felt the ones out there were very textbookish, if that makes sense. So from a theory point of view, I mean, if I think about how I studied marketing, it's very, how can I say, academic level. So if I'm going into marketing, I know the theories and so forth. There might be a couple of examples, but what I try to impersonate this as much as possible. And also from my experience as being not only an entrepreneur, but being from the corporate side. Okay. So I wanted to give entrepreneurs what corporates, big brands that they love are actually using and they've been using, and utilize that for themselves. And I think that's where the difference comes in. I bring in the elements of, corporates are actually doing this. Have you thought about research? And I think I mentioned to you earlier, that's probably the one thing I've noticed when consulting with small and medium businesses. There's not enough investment in research. Research is literally 50% of your business. If you know who you're talking to, what they need, when they need it, how they need it, that's half the job done. You don't need to rework a lot of things, and you need to just essentially curate a product or service based on those findings, and you'll flourish. But why is it we've got a lot of business? 50% of businesses do not go past 5-7 years.
But I would then ask you this question. I hear you about research and bringing what the big corporates are doing in their marketing and sales space down to the entrepreneurs. I then would ask you the question that corporates have got the finances to do that, and the time, and the people to do it. But when you get down to entrepreneurs, they actually are chasing money.
Exactly.
Because money is tight for them. They don't have enough people to be doing all the work that you're talking about. And they don't have the time because they're a one-man show who are doing everything. Yeah. How then do you bring hacks that you found in the corporate world down to an entrepreneur who then says, but I don't have the resources to be able to use those hacks that you're bringing to me.
Yes.
How do you help the entrepreneur to be able to break that down?
So I've listed. Sorry, excuse me. I've listed in my book, especially with the research. So I do understand that we don't, as small businesses, we don't have the resources in terms of time and money to do so. I'm an entrepreneur myself, so I also found, like, coming from corporate with having all these resources to now, you really need to be smart with your money. You can't be everything to everyone. You have to really be smart, and that's why, having a strategy and having, your research done is so important, because if you invest in the right places smartly, it will bring that return you're looking for in terms of the quick sales. So one of the things I put in there for research, I mean, we talk about focus groups for big corporates. They can afford these lavish rooms and so forth. But are you telling me we don't meet each other every weekend for a braai and talk about stuff?
Is that research? So,
that is research.
That's what I was going to say to you.
Research.
Break it down for us when you're saying that entrepreneurs should be doing research.
So research is essentially just gathering information about what it is that you're intending to put out there. So say I've got a new, what can I put that I kind of like? Let's go with ice cream, because that was what got me into marketing in the first place. Let's take it back to the beginning.
Yes.
Let's go with ice cream, right?
Yeah.
We know ice cream sales are higher in summer.
In summer.
They're going to be lower in winter. So if you're in the same industry as, say, maybe cool drinks are probably going to be higher in summer than they are in winter.
Yeah.
So it's understanding those seasonalities. Then it's, okay, but what kind of ice creams are people looking for? That's when you go speak to people. You can have surveys. You can either do it on hand, which is very tedious. And what I love about our day and age now, we've got technology. So there are sites that actually allow you to put up surveys, like up to 10 questions for free. And I think there's even other sites where there's no limitation. You can put 10 questions.
I see WhatsApp has got that functionality.
Exactly,
I
a
see
poll.
lot of people doing
in
that
groups.
poll,
We've got WhatsApp groups.
Yes, WhatsApp groups, yeah.
You can literally put a poll in the group. What do you guys want? Yes, no. Pizza tonight, or is it hamburgers, or is it, maybe sushi, all those things. And it's questions. That's what research is. It's literally just putting out questions, seeing what the answers are, and then how does your product fit within that? The biggest challenge that we have as small businesses is the right product fit for the market. So surveys is one, focus groups, as I said, is another. So as I said, we sit together every other weekend for braais. We're talking about life in general. Bring in your product or your service. Hey, I have this idea. What do you think?
Yeah.
Because as much as I've heard people say, yeah, but you're not going to be selling to your friends and family. First people who are probably not going to purchase, which is true. But at least you get some feedback that you can work with. The key thing is getting feedback.
To be able to use it.
To use it. I'm like, is this something that I need to work on? I mean, if we think about a lot of tech, when they're not ready to release everything, they put it out as a beta, as a test. And they let you try it out. And then they can see from what people now give back to them as comments, like, what's your feedback? Oh, this tech is a little slow. It's hanging up my phone and so forth. That's research for them. Okay.
So how do you then take it down to the entrepreneur? Because you've written a book.
Yes.
You said the book the book was only published and was out at the beginning of this year.
Yes.
In January. Just for the listeners at home, we are on WhatsApp. If you want to ask any questions, if you want to comment on 067 153 1089, it's the Book Nook on Hope Alive Radio. We're with Maria Issa and talking about how to build a bankable brand. Now, Maria, now you've written a book.
Yes.
It's an e-book.
Yes.
You'll tell us before we finish the show, we end the show, where people can get it. But what I would like to know is, what are you doing now with the book? Because it's all about sales and marketing hacks. It's all about entrepreneurs learning how to do what you just spoke about. I'll speak about 2 chapters out of the book, because we can't talk about everything in the book, which were quite interesting for me. But what I would like to know, because you're talking research, you're talking a whole lot of things. What are you doing to bring it to the entrepreneurs so that it becomes a reality for them and they understand how to build a bankable brand?
So one of the things that I've actually started doing from feedback, because I got feedback that, this feels like, some of the information, it's a lot of information. And I'm like, it's a really short book. This is literally the tip of the iceberg. I've even started. There's more versions going to be coming out.
Oh,
not
is
soon,
it?
but in the pipeline. I've already got ideas. I'm like, okay, how can I break this down? Because I didn't want to. Marketing is ever evolving, and as you can see with digital marketing, there's so much that you can do. Social media marketing. Where do we now put in a lot of information? I didn't want people to feel like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, because I can tell you now, a lot of entrepreneurs that I've come in contact with, when I say, how's your marketing? They're like, oh my gosh, don't ask me about that. And they feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
It's very overwhelming.
I don't blame them, because like I said, entrepreneurs are on survival mode.
Yeah.
It's literally that's what they're on. So some of these things are just too far-fetched.
Too far-fetched, exactly. So one of the things that I've actually started doing is creating a course to outline specifically from different chapters the examples, real life examples, because I feel like that would actually land a lot better for people. A lot of things I know when I was in university and learning about marketing was a lot of theory. I only felt that I really understood marketing when I was in corporate. I was like, this is what this is. Okay, but this feels a little different. And then you learn a lot more, especially with the different brands that people have interacted with. Even when you get to manage a whole heritage brand, which I've had a privilege of doing, you're like, please don't let me mess this up. Oh my gosh. Yeah. This is a lot of pressure. People have known this brand for over 100 years and I'm managing it. So, it's about, bringing it as practical as possible for them through either a course. I'm trying to partner up with other like-minded people, possibly maybe do events and such to make it more practical. I feel I'm very much a doer. I as much as I like to talk, I like to do. Because I learned through doing, and I know quite a few people, once you get the practice of it and it makes sense to you, it lands a lot better, as opposed to seeing and reading it and it's like, oh, this is great. How do I apply it to my life? So how do I bring that practical notion in terms of real life examples? So my challenge for myself is, how do I make it resonate not with just South Africans but globally, because my book has been bought also overseas.
Has it?
Yes.
Wow.
So
well done.
Thank you.
Well done,
actually, I have said that out loud. Yes, it's been bought overseas. so for me, it's also a validation. Like, okay, I do know my stuff. So
you do know your stuff.
I do know my stuff.
You do know your stuff.
So now, how do I make that resonate between the different markets? Because the entrepreneurship journey is also not linear. It's quite dynamic as well. So depending which stage you're in, you might find like, it's too junior, it's too beginning for me, which is it's what it's meant to be, because it's quite basic, just to give you a sense of it and not to feel so overwhelmed with marketing. Marketing is so enjoyable. There are days when I do marketing, I'm like, I just dance in my seat. I'm like, yes, this is what I wanted to do. When people,
isn't that what you all do in marketing?
No,
you all do dance and have fun. I'm sorry, that's an impression I've got about marketing. That it's all fun and dancing, and that's all you do.
I wish it was. I can tell you.
I never thought marketing people work.
No, we work. I've been. Oh my gosh, I can tell you stories of my corporate life where I was just like, God, why did I choose this again? I'm not sure. Are you sure? So I've had instances where I've worked in South Africa for about, I think, over 5 years, the South African market, then worked within sub-Saharan Africa. Okay. And that literally blew my mind in terms of the possibilities. And also, not just the possibilities in terms of marketing, but the possibilities of Africans and what we're able of doing. Because now I did research in those countries. And you're just like, oh, I'm getting excited just even thinking about it.
I can see that. I can see
and that's what it does. So you see different people and you get to, so we do home visits. So big corporates, you do home visits. And that's, I'm like, it may sound really big and very complicated and labor intensive and money intensive. It's simple. You go visit someone. That's a home visit.
And you sit.
And you sit. And you talk. And you're like, oh, can I just see, when you go to the bathroom, let's not lie. When you go and visit people and you go to their bathroom, are you not checking out what brands they're using, especially if it smells nice?
I'm not going to get myself into trouble on air.
But
so let's just...
No, but that's it. But you get what I mean. And that's a home visit.
I'm not compromising myself on air,
No, don't compromise yourself. But what I'm saying is, that's how I'm bringing it to make it more practical, right? That a home visit, that's what corporates do. We would literally go into a consumer's home. Yeah. I've had situations where We went into a home in, I think it was in Mlazi or Kwamashu, and it was like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. So you can imagine what time we had to meet at work.
I have a funny feeling I know which company.
Yeah, you.
I think we both worked for it.
Oh, you see now. That's why the connection is strong.
Yeah, I have a funny feeling,
Yeah.
And I'm listening to you because I know some of my marketing friends who I met at that company are sitting there saying, "But did you just really say all we do is dance and have fun?
Mm-hmm.
You know better than anybody." But let's go back to your book.
Exactly. So she knows.
I'm not going to say much.
You're neither going to confirm nor deny.
Let's leave it there.
I believe it.
Let's talk about something very interesting that you bring up in your book. You talk about customers' attention as currency.
Yes.
Take us through that. What do you mean customers' attention?
So attention is currency. If we think about the way the world is specifically today, if you want to be noticed, you need to grab attention. And the way the world is working now, especially with all this technology that's happening out there, there's a lot of noise. And I think that's where, as a marketing person, I tend to be like, oh my gosh, it's a little overwhelming because my brain is firing on all cylinders of how this has to work and how do I integrate all of these things.
Yes.
So how do you now break through that clutter and grab attention? So now that customer's attention, it's currency because I'm going to have to weigh up, where am I going to spend time on you? Spend time? That's the time, currency.
Yes.
Am I spending time
Okay.
on your...
I like it. Now it makes sense when you say spend time.
Spend time. And I say, am I going to spend time on your brand? Does it make sense for me? Is it resonating with me? Is it relevant to me? Is it talking to me or at me, with me, compared to somewhere else? It's the same thing. We've got these different social media apps. Oh my gosh, it feels like every other year something new comes up. So we started off with Facebook. I'm not going to say how many years ago. Then it became, I think, Instagram. Now there's TikTok. There was Snapchat and other things that we didn't get, exposed to and so forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's talk Africa. We've got Facebook first. Then it was Instagram. Okay, I lied. I think Snapchat came in. And then, see, I'm showing my age of the things that I now gave. I'm showing you where my currency was spent. Then we've got TikTok now. Right? And which one is where people are spending the most time on, their currency on?
And are these platforms, social media platforms, digital marketing apps and whatnot, are they making sales and marketing easier? Or are they adding complications to it? Because that's the other thing. As I was reading your book, I was trying to find that angle, and I was like, I must find it from you. Are these things making it easier for you as a marketer?
Oh, they're making it so easy. In fact, it's easier for the entrepreneur than it is for the corporate, because the corporates now who have been spending money to get your attention on traditional media now have to find ways to engage to now, get your attention away from those things. So if I look in different households, I'm not going to name any because I still need to go home.
Maria. We still want you alive. We want the next book to come out.
I know. No, but it's just an example. So again, it's observation, which is part of research. I'm forever working. It never stops. And I see when, even friends, you can watch something, but you're not fully watching something. I don't know if you've even noticed that a lot of well-known shows that I'm not going to repeat because they ain't paying me. But when you watch a well-known show and you hear about the commentary on Twitter, that's another one.
Yes.
Twitter. How are they're typing on Twitter while the show is on.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
But now you could miss the ads because you're
busy focusing on Twitter.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's that whole angle where social media has actually disrupted the
Yes.
traditional media space where a lot of corporates spend time, millions of... you don't even want to know. I've managed millions of rands in budget for marketing. And then as a small business owner, when I got, these social media platforms where I get access for free, and I can put my stuff out for free. As I said, I launched my ebook, and it was strictly on social media. That's it, because I was trying to keep costs low, and I've gotten sales through social media. I haven't had to pay for an ad. I just obviously needed to show up a little bit more.
A little bit more.
But it's my time,
media,
That's my time and currency that I've spent in terms of ad spend. But now to get in front of my consumers who are on that platform. So it's
Ah.
disrupted that space in terms of making it easier for the entrepreneur actually to utilize.
So it's disruptive sales and marketing that we are dealing with right
Pretty
now.
much.
Okay. And then there's another thing that you spoke about in the book that I guess is linked to the same thing about attention as currency. You spoke about AIDA.
Yes.
Attention, interest, desire, and action.
Yes. Yeah.
Talk to us.
So in my corporate space, I say corporate because I feel like even these models are also evolving and changing over time. So before we would put out any creative, we needed to actually evaluate it according to those principles. So AIDA is attention, which I said attention is in your currency, hence it's number one.
Yes.
Then interest, does this derive an interest in the individual? And then from that interest, from that creative, do you desire to take action, or do you desire to take this forward? So, you've got that. Does this creative meet all that criteria? If not, we're not going to put it out, which is a lot of work. Because now you have to be like, okay, I can't look at it from a marketing point of view. I have to look at it from a consumer, but I'm working in the office. How am I going to do this? So they've obviously had agencies that would help put out even certain TV ads before they flighted to say, does this reach all those things, these metrics according to our KPIs? But as an entrepreneur, you're like, how am I going to know? Well, it's called trial and error and social media because we don't have those funds to be putting an agency, together to say, listen, I want this evaluation. Here's the money. Here's the budget. Give me, should we go forward or not? And I think that's also probably better. Because the trial and error, it's also more the human connection, which a lot of corporates don't necessarily have. For them, it's the brand. Whereas you as the entrepreneur, you are the brand behind your brand, if that makes sense.
I was going to say that what I'm hearing as I'm listening to you is that as an entrepreneur, you are becoming the brand, but you're also failing in front of thousands of people. How do you then manage
I don't even look at it as failing.
Is it not?
No, it's lessons because you don't know.
Yes, you don't know.
You don't know. And
you-
you're not going to know. And that's the point, right?
Okay.
And I think it's better to fail a lot and fail forward to not do it at all. Because I've been in corporate where there's been a lot of projects that I've been on
that have failed.
Not even failed. They didn't even launch. Because
So
analysis
money's been used
to do research,
Yeah.
to produce, to develop these things, and they never get launched. And I'm like, but this
Why?
is something that the public would like. No, we're not quite feeling this, or someone just feels like it's not quite time yet, and so forth. I remember saying to my younger sister the other day, I saw something on the shelf. I'm like, that brand I worked on, this is something along the lines they wanted to go on. Now look, and they haven't even launched it till today.
Okay, so
the thing is, hence I said, you're saying failing, right? The research part would have at least cut half of that. You wouldn't have failed. If you did fail, it wouldn't be such a big fail. But even if you do fail, it's a lesson for you to go back to the drawing board and then
so
get
you
that
should
feedback.
use it as a hack.
Use it as a hack.
It's one of the hacks
Use
that
it
you
as
can
a
use
hack
as a
because
sales-
that's feedback.
Yes,
and
that
you've probably seen me say, you need to continuously do feedback. I think I've mentioned maybe 3-4 times, like, go back to research.
Yeah, yes.
It never stops. Even if you get to a point where you're like, I've made it, you still need to keep going back. You need to connect with your audience. You're creating things for your audience, not for yourself, for them. And that's where I feel like also a few times corporates tend to get it wrong. They start thinking about themselves and profit, and they lose connection with what the consumer wants. And I mean, they also spend millions and have products that fail. There's quite a few that I heard of, like, how did you launch that in this environment? How? Why? What was the reasoning behind it? And they're like, and then they start looking at it from a case of, because it worked in another country and South Africa is kind of considered similar.
Yeah.
We're going to launch it here too. I'm like, did you test this with the people? I don't know. They're like, no, we didn't need to do that.
Sure. This is very interesting. I mean, as an entrepreneur, there's an entrepreneur sitting there and thinking, wow, this is quite interesting because, like I said to you, entrepreneurs don't think in that way.
Yeah.
They think about making money and they don't think in those hacks. So you bringing it down for them to say, you don't need to spend money, you actually just need to spend the time and use it as lessons and as hacks for you to be able to develop a brand is something quite different. Gosh, can you see? Time flies. Definitely. Can
I
you
don't
see
wanna
what I'm
go.
saying? I know you don't want to go. But we need to speak about a very important thing because, like I said to you earlier, entrepreneurship is about a one-man show.
Yes.
And you alluded to the fact that when you are an entrepreneur and you're doing marketing and sales, it's actually you as a brand
Yes.
that is working on it. Now, in the hacks that we talk about in terms of marketing and sales and whatnot, talk to me about the hack for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
You is my point.
Yes.
For Hope Alive or for yourself?
For myself, now I'm an entrepreneur. Hope Alive is a brand.
I needed to check.
Hope Alive is a brand. It doesn't need me. But I'm just saying now, I'm sitting at home and I'm listening to you saying to me, yes, these hacks are working. This is what you should be doing. You should be doing research. You should be on social media. You should be failing forward. You should be getting the lessons. But you must also remember that you are also the brand behind your brand.
So, so being the brand behind the brand now, that's personal branding that comes into play there. So now that's also a field that I've also pivoted to because I've also got an event coming up that speaks to personal branding. So personal branding is about your unique values and proposition as an individual. Right, so when you create...
talking big English.
Oh my gosh.
It's 7:45 on a Friday, Maria. Unique, okay.
Don't do that. Don't do that now. Okay, let me break it down.
Oh, Maria.
Okay. So your unique selling point as an individual. So what makes you unique? Why would people want to engage with you? Why would people want to connect with you? Me pointing. So I could say, I've met you just over an hour ago. You're a vivacious, warm individual.
I didn't pay her. Go on. I didn't pay her. Just go on.
Vivacious, warm individual. I see a lot of myself in you. I feel like we're very similar. And you have a passion for life, and you love your children, and you just want the best for them, and you'll do anything that you can for them. Now, as an entrepreneur, depending on what it is that you want to put out there, an essence of yourself is going to go into that brand. Okay. So that's where I say that it comes together. So you're not going to do anything as Muipoini for that brand that you don't believe in yourself.
Okay. So
your values and so forth are essentially
go into your business.
Go into your business as well. So there's certain things, in terms of values. Say you, I have to be careful here. Hey? There's certain things that you probably wouldn't cross the line on. Yes. In terms of values. Yes.
In just my personal life.
In your personal life. You're not going to do that with your brand.
Okay.
So I can put it to this. I used to have a Twitter account, and then I deactivated. I just really don't like Twitter, simply because I just feel like it's a space where people are just vicious, and they have a lot of time on their hands to be vicious. So when I went onto Twitter, I was very intentional and strategic about it. I'm going there as my brand.
Okay.
Why? Because if I say anything that's going to affect my brand, I have to think twice before I post it. So then I made sure that if I'm going to post anything on Twitter, it has to be business related, or I'm at events and I'm talking about an event.
That particular event.
Not my own opinions. Because now how do you separate the two? Because unfortunately, people don't necessarily separate the two. If we look at Rihanna with Fenty Beauty, I have to go there. Because it's easily recognizable, right? Her Fenty Beauty, it became Fenty Beauty because of her.
Rihanna.
Not the other way around.
Yeah.
I mean, look at, I did an evaluation of her Super Bowl halftime. I didn't watch it, but I got snippets of it because, again, it was just like, this is a lot. But what I got from that one snippet, I was like, that's a great marketing. I was excited about it. I was like, that's a great marketing thing that she did there. She self-promoted. Do you know that Super Bowl halftime performers do not get paid?
Yes, no, they don't.
But as a marketing agency, they're paying $7 million for 30 seconds of airtime during that performance, during that time. $7 million. Let's not even go into the exchange rate.
Can you see me calculating in my head? I'm busy converting the 7 million to rands. I'm like, girl.
Don't do it. Don't. You will cry. I'm crying already. So that's what they're spending. She didn't get paid during that time. What did she do during her halftime? She did a makeup touch-up from her own brand. What did that do to her sales? 800% in sales.
So you have to be intentional
Strategic.
and strategic about
Yes.
what you're doing.
About what you're doing.
When are you having? I'd love the marketing and sales people out there, including yourself,
Yeah.
to tell me when you're having a session to talk to people about what it means to have that personal brand
Well,
and link it to their business, because we seem to be having a disconnect there, like
Yeah.
you're saying, because I'm listening to you talking about Rihanna and what she does and whatnot, and I'm thinking of practical examples where I'm looking at people who've got businesses,
Yeah.
and then you look at their social media
yeah.
and you're thinking,
It's not the same, right? And I've had that as well, where I've had to be like, okay, Maria, stop working. Because I take it from a work point of view when I see someone's personal. And I'm like, maybe you don't want to post that, you know?
yes,
Because they're going to see that and then
they're associated
maybe
with,
you want to put it on another platform. You know, that's also another thing. It's being strategic about what you put where. And what's it about? I mean, if you think about LinkedIn, it's a professional platform.
Yes.
You are not going to put
no, but
any old thing there. Yes, you get some people who put TikTok.
I was just about to say, you just brought LinkedIn. I was just thinking about it just this past week or last week. In the past 2 weeks, I was thinking about it, and I was questioning myself to understand: is it still the same platform that it used to be?
Ooh, LinkedIn is so from a professional point of view, especially you're building personal branding. So that whole, let me bring it back. So I launched my book 4th of January this year. I kid you not, I think just less than a week later, I got a meeting request through LinkedIn to say, hey, I see you've written a book. I'd love to set up some time with you and speak. I'm like, sure, let's do that. We set up a time to
Nice.
speak. And I've done some things for this lady, and now we have a workshop on personal branding that's happening this coming Thursday, actually, at the Royal.
Where is this workshop? It's very important that you share this information.
Exactly. So it is the Master Your Brand workshop. So Master Your Brand, Unlocking the Secrets of Personal Branding. That's happening at the Royal Elephant in Centurion from 8 to 5. It's dynamic, because not just a workshop about, talking. We're going to be doing work. We're actually going to give you tools. You are going to do work.
Okay.
Hey,
Nice.
so it's like a masterclass event, right?
So
We've got a dynamic lineup of speakers. I can name them. Can I name them?
You're more than welcome to.
So we've got the likes of Cobus Klein, who is a renowned financial advisor. He's going to be speaking about how to accelerate your brand. We've got a lovely lady called Rizan Ostazen. I'm hoping I am going to pronounce everybody's names right. She is a designer and brand strategist, also going to talk about the digital landscape of South Africa in terms of also branding. We've got Sungai Masindeke, who's going to talk about, she is the founder of Mommy and Me, I believe. And she's also going to talk about how storytelling and content creation is important for you. We've got the likes of Tamron Lowe and Pierre Murray, who are going to tell you about visual storytelling and how to choose the right visuals for your brand. You've got me. I'll be talking about how brand storytelling is important, but doing effective marketing. And we have the amazing guest speaker of Unnati Nkai, who's going to be coming to grace us to give us a little bit about her experience and her journey of personal branding, and lots of amazing other things that are going to be happening on the day. I will send you details
definitely.
people would
Please
like
do
to come
that.
to that. It's this Thursday, Royal Elephant in Centurion, 8 till 5. It is jam-packed. And let's just say you will not leave the same.
I think that is very important. I'm glad you guys are doing that, and you're having such, credible people coming through to do the workshop, because I totally believe that personal branding is very important, especially in this day and age of digital marketing and social media platforms and whatnot, that it's no more about, now at this point as an entrepreneur, you're not talking about a brand like Unilever, which doesn't have a face behind it. It's a brand on its own. Brand, it's just standing, and therefore, you don't put a face, your Tiger Brands, your Nestle's, those are brands.
Yes.
But as an entrepreneur, your business, you are the business, you are the brand, and it becomes very important that you want to be seen and have a good reputation like a Unilever, like a
exactly. And it's so possible. I mean, if they can do it and there's no faces behind them, essentially.
Yes.
What stops you? And that's what I think the beauty is in terms from the entrepreneur point, is that you're more flexible and you're more agile to do that. And you also have that human connection, because these are, Unilever and them have acquired brands over the years. They've built these for many, many years. And they are what they call them themselves that actually, the slow-moving giant. Because anytime they need to make a change, it takes there's lots of processes they have to go through to do that. But as an entrepreneur, you have the agility to make that change quite quickly.
Yeah.
So you're actually in the best space to take over than they are.
And those are the hacks that we need to learn. So, Maria, I'll be watching you. I'll be following you to see that you are doing that. You are honoring your word to share hacks with us as entrepreneurs out there for sales and marketing.
Yes. That's
importantly, where can people get a copy of your book, and where can they connect with you?
Okay, so copy of my book is actually a link. I don't know if can I say the link on air, or can I send it? I don't know.
You will send it to me. I'll share it on socials, but you can also say it on air.
Okay, let me just say it out, because it's a very interesting link that I learned from this course. So the one thing I love about these courses is that you never know what you're going to learn. And in learning, you actually realize that there's so much out there that we need to tap into, and it's better to do it with people. So it's a website called Selar, so SELAR.co. Is this a backslash? My English is now leaving me. I think it's a backslash. PU5Z. That is the link to my book.
All right.
And then to find me on social media, it's more like, where can't you find me? No, I lie. Mostly on Instagram as Afri Maisha, or you can find me on LinkedIn, actually. So find me on LinkedIn. I think that's probably the best place, because I'm going to be sharing a lot of things. But my business is Afri Maisha. So Maisha means life in Swahili. So that's why it's African life, bringing your brands to life, essentially. So you can find me on LinkedIn under Maria Emaisa, or you can find me on Instagram as Afri Maisha Marketing. You can find me on Facebook, Afri Maisha Marketing. I'm trying to think where else. Yeah.
I'm sure once we found you on those platforms, that will be more than enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome,
YouTube as well.
Oh, gosh.
YouTube is another. I didn't speak about YouTube, which is also so. How you talked about it. Is LinkedIn still relevant? It's so relevant, as well as YouTube. In fact, those are the two to look out for. See, I'm the one who I like looking for trends, and those are the ones that are really the platforms as entrepreneurs. LinkedIn, personal branding. YouTube, can I say it's like your TV channel?
Okay. All right. So that's what they use. That's what it's used
That's what
for.
you use it for, to engage with your audience and connect with them.
It's been,
We could go on.
it's been a very informative, very, very informative conversation.
Thank you.
I'm walking out of here a better person. I mean, every Friday, Maria, I must tell you, every guest that walks in here makes me a much better person than I was before. I get to learn things that I'd never known.
This is a blessing for a Friday, I must say.
It definitely is.
I'm definitely listening to this.
Sales and marketing hacks. I'm looking forward to following you. I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more. I'm sure the listeners as well are doing that. And thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm definitely sure we'll be connecting even after this.
Yes, actually, I realized we've been connecting on Facebook before.
Yes.
Actually. I was like,
the power of social media, madam.
guys, that's what I'm like. Social media, it's made the world that much smaller. We thought the world was small, but social media actually, we used to say 7 degrees of separation.
Yes.
I think it's 0.0000001.
No, it's definitely. I mean, like really, it's like
I mean, you were in Botswana, I was in Botswana. I think we even worked the same company at some point. I mean, what
we definitely
are the odds?
did.
What are
that
the
that
odds?
company in Durban?
I knew it. Yeah.
That one.
That's why I'm like, which one we must talk?
That one in Durban.
That's how you knew where. When I said those places, you're like,
I didn't need to go far.
No,
it just took me back.
In fact, I just said those 2 places, and you knew already. Like, it's the marketing team. That's what we did.
Okay, thank you so much. As a norm on the Book Nook, we are going to close off with the salvation prayer. But before I do that, I'm just going to say thank you so much to our online listeners. We really appreciate you that you take your time between 6 and 7 on a Friday to join us. It means a lot to us, and we really hope you would have a great weekend ahead. See you again next week, Friday, 6 to 7 on the Book Nook Hope Alive online radio. And we will close off with the salvation prayer, which says, Lord Jesus, I come to you today. I'm a sinner, but you died for me. Jesus Christ, come into my life, be my Lord and Savior. Take control of my life from this day forward. Thank you, Jesus, for saving me. Amen.
Amen.